Imagine being 35, married, one child, pregnant with your second child, happy with your career, and overall happy with your life. Then one day you have to open up your home, quit your job, to care for your mother who is diagnosed with behavioral variant frontotemporal dementia. This was me 5 years ago when I became a part of the sandwich generation. Today, I'm going to inform you about the challenges of being in the sandwich generation and caring for a parent with dementia while raising children. First, I'm going to tell you about dementia. Then, I'm going to explain the sandwich generation. Lastly, I'm going to go over the challenges caregivers face daily. This is an important conversation because 1 out of every 3 seniors in the United States die with Alzheimer's or a related dementia. So it is likely that you or someone you love will be affected. The interesting thing about dementia is that no 2 cases are the same. In 2017, the National Institute on Aging defined dementia on their webpage titled, "What is Dementia? Symptoms, Types, and Diagnosis," as the loss of cognitive functioning, thinking, remembering, and reasoning, and behavioral abilities to such an extent that it interferes with a person's daily life and activities. These functions include memory, language skills, visual perception, problem solving, self-management, and the ability to focus and pay attention. Some people with dementia cannot control their emotions, and their personalities may change. Dementia ranges in severity from the mildest stage, when it's just beginning to affect a person's functioning, to the most severe stage, when the person must depend completely on others for their activities of daily living. To help you understand dementia a little bit better, it's kind of like taking care of a newborn baby, feeding, changing, clothing, around the clock, except it's for an adult. Americans in the United States are living longer, and with that increased age, there's more disability. Between the years of 1990 and 2010, life expectancy has risen from 75 to 85 years of age. Because the population is growing, it is important to talk about dementia. There are several types of dementia that includes Alzheimer's, Lewy body, vascular dementia, Parkinson's disease, and frontotemporal dementia. Alzheimer's is the most common dementia in this country, and it is the 6th leading cause of death in the U.S. Hannah Nichols says in her 2017 Medical News Today article titled, "What are the leading causes of death in the U.S.?" that Alzheimer's is the only cause of death in the top 10 that medical experts cannot cure, prevent, or slow down. Marcus McGill writes in his 2017 Medical News article today, "Dementia, Symptoms, Stages, and Types," that although dementia is usually diagnosed later in life, it is not a normal part of aging. Now that you know about dementia, let's talk about the sandwich generation. The sandwich generation is usually a group of people between the ages of 40 and 60 who are balancing 3 commitments: their own professional lives, the needs of their children, and the care of their disabled or elderly parents. Caregivers are defined as unpaid family members or paid helpers who provide direct care for someone who has a disability. There are over 16 million unpaid caregivers in America who provide care to someone with dementia. The amount of people with dementia and the care that they need provides an overwhelmingly amount of stress on the caregivers physically, emotionally, and financially. Caregivers provide care that contribute to emotional stress. They provide safety, they assist with personal hygiene, perform household chores, prepare meals, assist with mobility, manage finances, and coordinate doctor's appointments. Caregivers spend many hours per month providing care and supervision, which causes an increased amount of stress, a financial burden due to depleted savings, and a lot of times loss of job. They're also caring for their children. They're chaperoning field trips, checking homework, and supporting your children in extracurricular activities. As a result, caregivers forget about themselves while they're providing care and raising their children. On a final note, I hope that you all learned about dementia, the sandwich generation, and the challenges the sandwich generation has so that you can be better prepared than I was if you're faced with this in the future.
Excellent, I feel so proud.
Oh, I feel so shaky.
You came out at 5:45. That was really done well. Your piece was really good throughout the whole thing. How you incorporated research was really good. The only thing that I would say with your research, watch when you give statistics. You gave one statistic, what was it, like 16 million people, but you didn't tell us where you got that from or how current that is. Other than that, all of your citations were done really well, and your content was really organized. It's really a good speech. So let's ask a couple of questions. This is interesting. How many of you ever heard of this this term, sandwich dinner? I never actually heard of that term, so I found that interesting. Anyone? A few people. A couple of people. Yeah. Okay, let's ask a couple of questions.
My mom is dealing with, her mom has dementia, and she's taking care of me and my brother. She seems like she's handling it all right. Is there any like tips on how to?
Yes, I do have tips. I'm glad you asked that question. Many people actually say that about me. They're like, you're always smiling, you're so friendly, you're so fun. Oh my gosh, you're such a good mom. I hear it all the time. Inside, sometimes you can be falling apart, and that's okay. What I would recommend that you do for your mom is support her, help her, lend a helping hand. If she needs help with grandmom, say, you know, Mom, can I help? Do you want me to make lunch for grandmom? Or would you like me to sit with grandma or take grandma for a walk if she can still walk? Anything that you can do to take a little bit of the burden off your mom, even a compliment now and then, and say, Mom, you know, I really admire how you're taking care of grandmom. Like, that really is an awesome thing to do. That will help her, because a lot of times caregivers with family members with dementia don't have a huge support system. So I would recommend being a support system. Yes.
Do you know what the Lewy body dementia was? Like, where it's actually, like, definition is?
Well, the specific definition, no, but I do know that there are like growths that happen on the brain that changes the personality, cognitive thinking, and things like that. There's no two dementias that are the same. Even if someone has, if there are two people who has Alzheimer's, they're going to look much different. A lot of people say to me, well, you're a nurse. You've worked in a nursing home. A lot of your patients had dementia. You're absolutely right. But there is a big difference when you're a caregiver and you do it 24 hours. You know, you can clock out from a nursing home. You know, you do your 8 to 12, you come home. So I would say I could do a little bit of research on the Lewy body to find out exactly what it is, but I'm not familiar with that specific dementia because it is one of the more rare dementias.
Yeah, it just seems so interesting.
So you said that Alzheimer's is the big one in the U.S.
Yes.
People have that. Is there research as to why so many people are getting that, or is it something to do with like our diets, or like what, you know, because there's not much out there as to, you know, they always say use your brain, play puzzles, don't let your parents just kind of sit there and not do anything to help not get this. But is there anything?
Well, that's a good question. There is so much research that needs to be done. With my mom specifically, she was a very smart woman. She worked for a very long time. She was actually diagnosed when she was 57, which is very, very young. Frontotemporal dementia is the younger onset dementia. With Alzheimer's or any of the other dementias, there's not a lot of definitive research. We know that with some dementias, there's things called TAL, with I think you mentioned before, the plaques that go in the brain. Some dementias are vascular dementia that originate from strokes. Other dementias like frontotemporal dementia, which is very unique, we have a frontal lobe in the front, and we have two temporal lobes on the side. With those, that is all your cognitive thinking, your decision making, your personality, your language, all of those things. And with that dementia, your brain actually atrophies, or in layman terms, shrinks. So that dementia has shrinkage. Some experts think that it is genetic based, but others just have no knowledge, and it's still research.
I always just thought like Alzheimer's just seems like the scariest thing you could get as you get older, you know, to not even know your legacy or.
It's like, imagine looking like yourself, having your body, but everything that makes up your personality, your memories, those that you love, the things that make you laugh, your voice, everything is taken away. Your ability to go to the bathroom by yourself, dress yourself, everything is stripped away, and you're literally a shell of a person is what it ends up happening to the person.
When, in my most intensive care years, which involved my children, my dad always lived on his own, but he needed, support after a time, which took its own time. Nothing on your order, but it took its own time. One of the things I made a decision about is I said, I'm getting lost as a person in all of this. And if anything survives, I'm staking this is what I claim for myself, no matter what the rest of them did. For me, that was my music. What do you recommend for caregivers as far as you do have to really, literally drive a stake through it?
You do.
This is mine.
That is actually an awesome point that you're bringing up. For about 2 years, me personally, I got very lonely. I had just left my job to care for my mom. I was home with my mom, who is nonverbal, and my young son at the time, who was like firstborn to 2 years old, which I had mentioned earlier. He went through early intervention because he had some language issues. So it was very quiet. My husband was working, my older son was at school, and I thought I was gonna lose my mind because there was no one to talk to. And all of my friends that are in my age group, I just turned 40 this year, their parents are the grandparents that are saying, bring those babies over, I'm gonna watch those, my grandbabies, or they're coming over to help and, go to sporting events and they're cheering for their grandchildren. We don't have that. So what I decided to do was go back to school. That was the best decision that I could have made. It's tough, but I feel like that I am contributing to myself, the betterment of myself. My kids are proud of me. Every time we ride past Route 38 and see RCBC, my 4-year-old says, Mommy, there's your college. And it makes me proud because they see that I'm doing something, and I'm going to come out of this with more education and toward my career goals. So, and it gives me a chance to talk to people. So if I do talk a little bit too much, because I don't really get to talk, But yeah, so that's what I would recommend. Do something just for you.
Really nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.